The Cathedral of Sochi was coldly and deliberately pounded twice on the same day so that the deadly message thus sent be perfectly clear. The Armenians do not have any place in Nagorno-Karabakh and will never be in security there, not even in their most sacred spaces. The bombing of the cathedral in reality was just a warlike prelude of a policy that was to manifest itself immediately after the ceasefire and extend till today. Madam President, evidence of cultural destruction that I shall adduce are numerous indeed. Armenia's application with regards to this contains many references to available documents on the internet. Some have been reproduced in our annexes. With the corroboration of photos or videos, this evidence appeared in the media and social networks. Tallying with each other, this evidence was collected and checked by satellite images through Caucasus Heritage Watch, a research initiative undertaken by archaeologists from the universities of Cornell and Purdue in the United States. The complete reports of these archaeologists are to be found in your hearing file, tabs 13 and 14. A few days after the 10th of November, the cathedral was yet again the subject of racist attacks, during which its walls were daubed with graffiti, whereas the statues of angels ornamenting the railings surrounding the cathedral were deliberately damaged before they disappeared. Since then, Azerbaijan has undertaken what it calls restoration of the cathedral work. It removed the spire on top of the choir tower so as to return it to its original architectural so-called style and return to the historical image of the town. But let's look at this more closely. Built between 1868 and 1887, when the region was part of the Russian Empire, here is the cathedral now on screen as it originally appeared, with its spire before the anti-Armenian pogroms of March 1920. Following the ethnical recomposition of the city caused through these dramatic events, the spire of the cathedral was removed and the religious building ceased to be maintained during the Soviet period. The cathedral resumed its original aspect in 1998 before it was bombed on the 8th of October 2020. Since then, Azerbaijan claims that restoring the cathedral could be done by removing its spire. Distinguished members of the court, in decapitating Sochi Cathedral, Azerbaijan intends to make invisible as from Stepanakert and reestablish the situation in which it was abandoned following the pogroms of 1920. And thus, indirectly, it recalls this memory. Claiming to reestablish the historical image of the city, Azerbaijan indeed reveals its policy of racial discrimination after having voluntarily destroyed the cultural heritage, the Armenian cultural heritage, by bombing it. Azerbaijan is altering, modifying what remains of it in order to diminish its presence. Through a letter of last Friday, transmitted less than 2 days ago, the Azerbaijan Vice Minister of Culture affirms that the work of restoration was undertaken in consultation with international experts. However, this internal letter in the government of the defendant doesn't prove anything unless it be its depravity. It's this letter, which you are asked to keep confidential, although it concerns a monument, manifestly was written and very cautiously formulated, framed for the purposes of the present case. And as you'll note, it's addressed to the person who's the agent of Azerbaijan in the cases submitted to your scrutiny. Furthermore, this letter states that experts would be consulted without actually naming them, nor saying anything about their visits or reports. And above all, it does not, this letter, indicate that Azerbaijan intends to rebuild the spire of the cathedral that its double bombing did not, however, succeed in striking down. The official position of the defendant is thus that the cathedral, in its original form, was without a spire, as you saw. And as you can see it again on screen, nothing could be further from historical truth. Still in Shushi, the Armenian Church of St. John the Baptist, also called the Green Chapel, was decapitated after the trilateral ceasefire declaration. In the village of Merkavan, which the defendant calls Jebrail, the BBC reported about the complete destruction of the church after it was vandalized by Azerbaijani soldiers. On the 27th of March of that year, Azerbaijani soldiers, through mockery, profaned the church of St. Yegishi in the village of Matagis, as you can see looking at the video under tab 5 in your hearing file. Very soon after the declaration of the 10th of November, Azerbaijani soldiers also went to Armenian cemeteries to cast down tombs, smash them and profanate them. Such incidents were reported on the 26th of November 2020, and then when spring came back in May 2021, in 5 places at least. In Adrut, north of Shushi, at Metztacher, at Taravard, at Shekhnach, where the old Armenian cemetery that went back to the 18th century was totally razed. Evidence of such destruction are taken up in your hearing file, tabs 6 to 10. The destructive fury of Azerbaijan also covered kachkars, a characteristic of religious art in Armenia, whose origins go back to the 4th century. A kachkar is literally a stone with a cross, either a stele about 1.50 meters high, rectangular in shape, carved in low relief with one or several crosses, surrounded by ornamental decoration of human figures or inscriptions in Armenian. And since 2010, the kachkars, Armenian kachkars, are on the list representing the immaterial cultural heritage of humanity. In Shushi, the kachkar of the bombed cathedral was then disfigured and destroyed at the late April this year. Furthermore, in territories that Azerbaijan claims have liberated, kachkars are torn down. This was the case notably on the 12th of January 2021 in Arakel, where the Azerbaijani armed forces knocked down a kachkar through a military truck, as you can see in tab 11 in your hearing file. The cemetery at the north of Sushi, which was very considerably destroyed, had 2 kachkars of the 12th and 13th centuries. Madam President, distinguished members of the court, such a gratuitous and discriminatory destruction seeks to erase the Armenian cultural presence in Nagorno-Karabakh. Further destruction is directed against Armenian memory. At late March this year, in Shushi, Azerbaijan destroyed the monument commemorating the genocide of Armenians perpetrated by the Ottoman Empire, which is to the left on your screen. Denying the existence of genocide, the defendant considers no doubt to be entitled to destroy this monument because it commemorates an event that, according to it, did not occur. To the right of the screen, you can see the location of the monument without the monument and without inscriptions in Armenian on its surrounding wall. This photograph was taken during the presidential visit in June 2021. A flagpole, as you can see, with the flag of Azerbaijan has replaced the monument to the Armenian genocide. There could be no stronger symbol. President Aliyev making of the rewriting of history a central point in his ethno-nationalistic and discriminatory policy. distinguished members of court, there is no place, no room in the territories controlled by Azerbaijan for what makes and symbolizes Armenian identity.